Bienvenidos, señores y señores, to another episode of the Bleed Lows podcast. This episode of the Bleed Lows podcast is brought to you by BetOnline. Basketball is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. And as your continued source for all sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. It's always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events, whether that's the NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. So head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts. And joining us on the Carne Asada this week is we have a little bit of a surprise. Hey, everybody, look who's back. Our co-hosts, the double A's, Alicia Del Valle and Alonso Sarinana. Alicia, we're going to start with you because we never got to hear you vent. We never got to hear the pain you experienced with the Dodgers getting eliminated from the playoff to the dreaded show pods. So first of all, Alicia, how are you? How you been?
I'm good. Good to see you guys. And in person. What?
Yeah, you're bearing the lead, Juan. We're all in the same
Yes,
room.
we are all together for the first time here at the Intercontinental Studios.
I'm well. I'm better.
Are you, though?
I'm better. I took it really hard, fellas. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I was pissed. I went through, I guess, the stages of grief. I really felt like the Dodgers just punched me in the gut and then kicked me when I was down and then spit on me and walked away.
Wow. Wow.
So who did you blame, Alicia? When you were like in the throes of your anger, did it change or was there always one villain in this for you?
Okay, so here's the thing is I didn't see it coming. I was so naive and so blinded by this was our year. I was all in. I didn't have any question. We even have that wager with our colleagues in San Diego.
Oh, yes.
We ran into Nick, by the way, and
did he try to collect?
He says it's going to happen in the middle of the season.
Okay.
Okay,
It's usually
I'm down.
when Heath comes out here.
I have no problem. It's not even, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's shame or anger.
She's about to Venmo Nick because of shame.
I'm just saying, like, I just didn't see it coming. And of course, I'm exaggerating about the spitting part, but I do feel like they punched me. And I don't know. I feel like it's the top. I still blame management. I still blame
Andrew Friedman.
I mean, I don't want to name names.
Okay.
Because, come at me. But I just feel like the guys never got up for it. Mookie wasn't into it. He never showed up. Postseason, Mookie did not show up. Trey Turner was already he was planning on leaving. I know Justin Turner cried when they had the team meeting and he was like frustrated and hurt. Now he's no longer with us. That's another topic. But anyway, I can spend this entire episode on it. I could not come back and talk about it. That's how upset I was. And then don't get me wrong, my logical side, not my fanatic side, because I am a fan. My logical side was like, look, it's not about you. This is entertainment. They are professional athletes who get paid a lot of money to do their job. They didn't do their job because on paper, we were the better team. Not just on paper, record-wise, we were the better team. What happened? So that's why I don't know, we had Dave Roberts on before playoffs and he was confident. So, I mean, all arrows, signs point to the players, but I just think that they mess with them management so much during the season that the guys were not able to be hungry or get up for it or
Let me ask you.
We need some tequila if we're just going to keep talking about the Dodgers losing. I thought I was over it. I thought I had healed. Obviously,
Alonso and I had talked about this, and we had said we felt like there was a lot of anger from the fans,
Yeah.
and for the first time, I felt it was directed at Andrew Friedman.
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
I did. Absolutely. And he faced us, right? He faced the media. He spoke on it. He did all the interviews, and he said the right things. But I don't know. I wasn't comforted. I didn't feel better, and I felt bad for Dave Roberts because again, I really think he did his job. There were no classic, blame him for a pitching change or whatnot. The guys had no energy. They were lifeless. And I kept waiting for them to quote flip the switch. Well, why should there be a switch? It's the freaking playoffs and they're the best team in Major League Baseball. So I don't want to hear about the other team got hot, or how did the Dodgers not know that the Padres would be coming for them? We knew that. It made their season just to beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And we're not even, that's not our job to be up for it. I just feel like, so I sound like I'm blaming the players, but I'm saying there was no one up top that would get the guys going. And I don't know, what did you guys, Kershaw's been there, right? Did he not? Turner was there. Those guys have been there and won it for us. And so I'm just saying, I don't know. And I don't know what's going to change. And I know a lot of fans have been upset that the Dodgers did not do enough, but we have the talent. The talent's there. Freddie Freeman was there all season long. The pitching was there. Urias, right? I just don't know why they weren't hungry and wanted another chip. That's what blows my mind. So I don't want to blame the guys. I'm going to blame management.
And there you have it, because we were getting a lot of questions of where's Alicia? Where's Alicia? Everybody wanted to know why Alicia wasn't on the show. So there you have the explanation. Alicia was taking this really hard and she just needed time to help her. And as you can hear, she's still not over it and it's still very painful. So let me create more pain for you, Alicia. I'm going to start off with Alonso here because we haven't heard from Alonso in a while in terms of, now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you thought Bellinger was gone, right?
Yeah. There was, he needed a change of scenery. There's just no other way to put it. He needed a change of scenery. And honestly, I think to something Alicia was saying, there's a caveat kind of like to this too. It's the reason I think you're seeing the JTs of the world and the Cody Bellingers of the world leave. Obviously, it's money. It's a business, right? But I think this team, not only does management need, and more so than ever, need that criticism, but I think it's a cultural reset as well. And they need it pretty bad. And so I think that's a huge part of what's happening right now. Obviously, the Dodgers can go out and get just about anyone they want. They've stood pat for a litany of reasons. I'm sure one of them is the tax threshold needs to be reset. Right. But back to Cody, though, needed a change of scenery. And, because it's funny, a lot of guys like Noah Syndergaard's coming here because he knows the Dodgers can get him right. Mm-hmm. The thing that I'm worried with long-term with Cody is if the Dodgers couldn't get him right, what is that change of scenery going to do? And so, I think that's why, and it sucks to see him go because he's a dude, right? He is a dude, but that's one of those where you kind of had to rip the Band-Aid off and move on from him. It sucks, and I hope nothing for the best for him in Chicago because that's a great environment to go play in. That fan base is just as passionate as the Dodgers.
Whoa.
And obviously they have their own issues with ownership with the Ricketts family, but that's a storied franchise, right? You hear about the Great Eight and all those franchises in hockey. The Cubs arguably are kind of like a part of that Great Eight in baseball. And so I think that's good, but he needs that scenery change. Hopefully it works out great for him. Low key though, that's the thing I'm worried about with Cody is that.
So you're very good about taking the emotion out of things. Help us out with the Justin Turner. In terms of baseball terms, what is Justin Turner not being on the Dodgers going to do for the Dodgers?
He, for the longest time, that dude was the heart and soul of the clubhouse, right? He was that guy. Now that guy's Kershaw, but de facto that he's that guy. As far as, the emotion of it, you're going to lose that. That's going to be really hard to replace because you can't just, there's all the intangibles that you hear of with players, right? But going out and finding a guy that can step into a leadership role like that, you can't just go find that, right? So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out the whole year because Kershaw isn't necessarily a rah-rah guy either, right?
Yeah.
And
No.
so that's going to be interesting to see as far as that cultural reset goes, where I think, and we talked about it. Roger still owes me a point, and he hasn't given it to me. So we'll throw hands about it later. We saw the writing was on the wall about kind of the youngsters coming up.
Yes.
Right. There's been how many times have we used the word logjam with the depth? Now you got to see what your dudes can do, and so that's going to be a huge part of it, as finding who your leaders are. Because then from there, hey, you have Michael Bush in the farm. You have Andy Paez in the farm. You have, obviously, Miguel Vargas from the kind of sideline in the farm. You got dudes. Now you got to see if they're really dudes. And so from there, you're going to see who can step into that JT role. But those are big shoes to fill, man. Like, I don't envy who does.
Can I just to bounce off that?
Yeah.
So Mookie.
Right.
I mean, I didn't hear you mention him once. I know he's fairly new to, but postseason Mookie has not shown up. And
you don't think in 2020 he delivered?
Yeah.
I know this past. You're right about this past postseason.
Yeah.
He struggled.
But I think
and the one before. Right?
Well, and I think a lot of what happened with the struggles in this postseason, obviously, the benefit
he's been accused of not being interested.
I don't even think it's that. If I'm honest, baseball's so fucking hard.
Okay, but
like
Freddie Freeman was there,
right?
Other guys, and I'm not trying to just, point him out, but I let me choose my words.
Yeah.
Would he be considered a leader? I mean, he's won championships.
Yeah.
He's a veteran, quotes, and he's got the cachet. He is. I mean, a lot of the Dodgers' decisions upstairs are centered around Mookie Betts, keeping him happy. So what is it going to take? Is it going to be young players to get him excited?
So I think a lot of I don't even think it's an excitement thing, because baseball is just so hard to be so good every single day, right?
Their teams were super excited. You could see it in the dugout during the game.
But with Mookie, he's also kind of on eggshells, because if JT's the guy, if JT's the guy, you don't necessarily want to step on that guy's toes, right? Like if your guy, everyone knows the guy's JT. Not to say that Kershaw couldn't step into that, because he's probably the other de facto leader, right? But if Mookie comes in and says, "Hey, we got to change up how we do all this shit. We got to change up how we do that," that may not necessarily be received all that well by that clubhouse.
So what I'm gonna counter that with, he got to choose the music. Everything was turned around. I'm just saying they gave Mookie a lot of responsibility,
100%.
More than JT.
Yeah.
I feel like, if anything, the Dodgers just kind of maybe took him, not for granted, but you tell me what I'm trying to say. They knew JT was the heart, and not just of the team, but of LA. He's Mr. Community.
JT's your general.
So and Mookie was brought in, I think, to be the guy.
Well, I mean, you don't pay that dude that amount of money if you don't expect him to be the guy, right? Mm-hmm. But at the time that he was brought in, JT's still here. Clayton Kershaw's still here.
Who's coming in from the Red Sox? They played together. That's
JJ
a good
Martinez.
sign.
Honestly, I think
he took less money to become a Dodger, so that gives me hope. That cheers me up slightly.
I think what's going to happen.
My black heart is melting a little.
I think like Freddie Freeman's not a rah guy either, and that's not, I don't think that's a bad thing either.
But he leads by example.
Yeah, he leads by example, and so does Mookie.
So does Kershaw.
And now Mookie is going to is going to be expected to be more of a leader. But I mean, as we look at it, as this current iteration of the Dodgers this is Clayton Kershaw's team. Like he's the guy.
I'm so happy he's still here. I don't know what would I have done if
and I mean, I've said it to these two. I don't see, not just because of the Dodgers thing, I just don't see him going to Texas and not being in the postseason and being happy. I just don't. That's not in his DNA.
He's got that winning mentality.
Yeah. And that's I think again why it kind of comes back to Kershaw being the de facto guy, because he leads by example. He's not a rah guy, kind of like Freddie.
But I do agree about the culture shift. The culture needed to be changed.
Yes, 100%.
I'm calling them zombies. I'm sorry. Please don't come at me. I love my Dodgers so much. You can see it during the games. You could go back and see just the kind of like.
But even then, sometimes you just got to tip your hat because you got your ass kicked. And I think that's honest. I mean, we said it when we talked after the thing. They got punched in the mouth and they just couldn't get back up. And that's just how the game goes sometimes. And that's, and again, I don't.
Will break your heart.
Yeah. I mean, it's like golf, right? Everyone likes to golf, and then you get out there. Why do I play this stupid game? I mean, it's the same thing.
But golf is on me. This is them.
It will also break you.
This is our year-end review
It is.
show, and
Oh wait,
and
hold on.
by the
before-
time this posts, it's going to be the new year. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
what we're getting is a new year, new me over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm loving the fire over here coming from her.
Aw.
but you also have to remember she got spit on moments ago.
Oh my god, I can't. I'm gonna
Um,
get it for saying that. I just.
I actually wanted to hear because we talked about it in texting, but I've been traveling for work. What did you think of JT leaving?
Look, I agree in the sense, in business wise, and Babyface and I have talked about it. For me, it's the roster spot.
Yeah.
He's taking a roster spot. In particular, he is taking at bats away from Miguel Vargas.
Yeah.
JD Martinez is not going to take at bats away
Yeah.
from Miguel Vargas. So I know a lot of people are saying, why couldn't we pay JT? And I don't think money was the issue with
No.
it. The fact that maybe he wanted a second year, the
Yeah.
fact that
Yeah.
Justin Turner still feels like he can play, I'm not going to hold that against the guy, right?
Right. Right.
If the guy still thinks he can play, let him finish his career the way he wants to finish his career.
100%.
But what, like you said, we need to find out what we got with these guys.
Yeah.
Because if they hit it, if these guys, these young guys in the farm system, if they're as good as we think they're going to be, the Dodgers are going to be set for another decade.
Yeah.
Because they won't have to pay these guys for another 5-6 years.
You know who's perfected the model, and I think a lot of people give him shit, and it's unjustifiably the Braves.
Yes.
Because the Braves have locked up all these guys to these long-term deals that are not unfair amounts of money. It's still a lot of money,
Yeah.
but it's not crippling the franchise.
Yeah.
And kudos to Anthopoulos and those guys. I mean, because they're killing it. But
And where did he come from?
the Dodgers,
The Dodgers front office.
Mhm.
So he learned a thing or two.
yeah. But I think honestly, I think looking 2 steps ahead, I think the Dodgers are thinking if they can get lightning in a bottle with these guys, they
For
can
sure.
take that same approach. Because then from there, it eliminates. Yeah, you still have to acquire pieces like the Braves did, right? But you have pillars in Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts who are going to age well into their deals and their skill sets. But then from there, I hope they keep Julio. I'm still convinced they're not going to keep him, but that's a problem literally for
I
tomorrow.
was just getting my hopes up, and then
Remember, it breaks your heart.
Let me ask you guys this.
we got a year with him, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in the present.
We had El Padrino on the show,
Sí.
Ned Coletti, right? And we were
Mhm.
talking Justin Turner with him. And what I had told Ned, as good as Justin Turner became as a baseball player, I think what I'm going to miss most is how solid that's a good person.
Absolutely. He's a
Yeah.
good
We
dude.
had him on the show. We had him and
Yes.
Courtney on the show, right? All the stuff that he does for veterans.
Yeah.
After the second inning, every time they do the veteran on the of the game at Dodger Stadium, when the veteran comes off the field, Justin Turner always goes at the end of the
Mhm.
dugout, gives the guy a signed baseball, shakes his hand.
Yeah.
That to me is the Justin Turner. He's just a solid dude.
He gets it.
And you don't want like a good guy, especially nowadays in sports. We always hear how shitty people are and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, it sucks that he's not going to be a Dodger, but I've told Babyface this. He's always going to be viewed as a Dodger.
100%.
He's going
Right.
to be like Steve Garvey, who pulls a stop short. But anyway, like Steve Garvey left and he took the show pods to the World Series,
Yeah.
but everybody looks at Steve Garvey as a Dodger.
Yep.
So even though Justin Turner's going to the Red Sox, Justin Turner's
with
a Dodgers, right?
Kiki, like that. Did you see the videos that
Yeah.
Kike
Yeah,
put
yeah.
up? And I was like, oh god.
But
I
even
was
that-
like, stop it.
And I'll say this too about the whole like JT thing. I think it's unfair to try to burden the leadership role on someone else like a Mookie. Like it's one thing to be the franchise and all that, but I think it's unfair to do that because Freddie Freeman has made it clear that's not a thing for him, right?
Yeah.
And he's open about it. And there's some guys that are willing to take that unduly kind of burden of that.
And I think to Alicia's point, I don't think Mookie wants that.
I don't know if he
Okay,
does,
but-
right?
Then why? Then who?
Well,
Let's just say, okay, they don't want it, but
I mean-
the moves they made, JT was also a cheerleader in there. He's a hugger,
yeah,
high fiver, and that's gone.
But again, I mean, but you
So-
bring the young guys up, and the young guys are about that, right? Like,
right.
so
But
I mean,
that's not leadership.
no. But I'm saying neither is the hugging and all that jazz either, right? I think
No, but at least he's involved.
right, and I think that guy is ultimately going to be Kershaw. But honestly, I do think it's
I
that
hope.
because I mean, we talked about it last year a lot. He's loosened up, and
He
I
is.
think
He's having like fun.
having
I feel-
fun.
Yeah, he's having fun. He's loose.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's a lot of it too. Like those postseason conferences, like the way that those guys were talking, it just wasn't fun.
Let me ask you this.
well,
Alonso.
that's culture. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
You bring up a good point, but can that leadership be from a pitcher? does it have to be an everyday player
No,
that
I-
brings that leadership?
Bro, Kike didn't play every day, and he had that role. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't think it can be. Honestly, it can be any. Another example, Fernando Canazada, El Caballo, Hanser Alberto
Yeah.
didn't play every day, but he was the designated the CFO, the chief fund officer. So I mean, it's it's there's always a guy, and it doesn't have to be an everyday guy. It doesn't have to be a superstar. There's just always a guy.
I guess I was just focusing on like his Mookie's age, his superstardom, the money that
Yeah.
the Dodgers paid him. Like it is wrong for me to unfairly point out that he should be the leader, but I guess it won't work if it's not authentic either.
I don't
Yeah.
think you're off base.
No,
though.
I don't think you're off base.
I think everyone looks at him
Yeah.
as he's a star, therefore he should be a leader. But then I think you have a point there about forcing leadership
Yeah.
on people. If there's people who just aren't cut out to be leaders, we can't force them.
And that's
Can't
not to
force
say.
them, but what is management going to do about it?
Well, and that's not to say that Mookie can't be a leader. I mean, I think he for sure can, but at the same time,
Let's go, Mookie.
there's some guys that the game is already hard enough. You're playing in one of the most scrutinized media markets in the country. Like that's a lot of responsibility, right? And sometimes it doesn't wear out well on guys. They don't perform, and hey, that's fine. We're human, right? And so I think that's another reason I think they're doing it this way as well, aside from the financial standpoint, but also you can go out and keep acquiring these guys over and over again. I don't think Shohei's coming, by the way. I'm just going to go on the record and say that.
I would love that though.
But I don't think he's coming because the Dodgers, I think, are really going to try to go to kind of that Braves. Baseball copy in the game of baseball, the models are copied, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People try to copy the Dodgers model, and now it's fair to say that the Dodgers
That's
may
in
have seen
anything successful.
exactly.
Someone does it right.
Because the Braves are going to be good for a really long time.
Yes.
Really long time, and they've gone about it in a way that I wouldn't have thought of doing it either. And clearly, not to say that Friedman hasn't, but I mean, there's always a needle mover, right? So at the same time, to your point of like the 9-10 year deals, like I heard you guys talking about that, it's always going to happen in baseball because that's just the way that the market is, right?
Mm.
But it's not going to happen often.
There were so many people reaching out to me on social media after
Yeah.
that horrible send off by the San Diego team. And some of them were like, well, let's hope Correa doesn't come to the Dodgers. I was like, what? Why are you even bringing that up? I was like, oh God. I was like,
To me
stop.
though, if a guy makes sense, go get him, right? I don't think Correa was going to make a lot of sense because of the money. That's just ultimately what it was. It's not the dude can play.
Well, now we know he has a glass leg or something.
I don't even, but even that, I think it's just being. I was telling these guys before.
I'm being so bitter. I'm so sorry.
Again, it's new year, new me, ladies and gentlemen. I like this, Alicia.
We're
I hope
almost-
this Alicia stays.
I'm gonna
Alicia-
cleanse. I just started hot yoga before January 1st. I'm gonna be on board. I promise.
Alicia Bitter del Valle.
Maybe January 3rd-ish. Let's
But-
give it that.
but I mean, I told these guys too. I mean, I don't think Correa was going to come here because of the money, for starters, and second of all, you have guys already that you can potentially develop that will not cost you $300 million right now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It was the
financially,
years too. That
yeah. I mean, well, he wanted years, and I mean, here's the thing: he bet on himself, and I'm a firm believer of betting on yourself,
Mhm.
and it's worked out. Because
Mhm.
even the Twins offer that he didn't accept was, I think, 9 years, $285 million.
They love him out there.
But I mean, because he can play baseball, he's really good.
I know, but those fans, they
Yeah.
love him.
They love him. But I mean, but again, I mean, the Mets, when you got the money that Steve Cohen has, you could buy this damn hotel and you'd still be okay.
Yeah, how come the Mets didn't get as much grief as the Dodgers did for blowing the season?
Well, because the
'Cause
Mets have
they
been bad
spend
for a very long time.
money.
They've been bad for a long time.
Yeah, but they spent that amount of money, and yet that's the shade that everyone throws at the Dodgers. Like, oh, that money didn't even get rid of San Diego.
But you know what, Alicia? They're gonna get it if they
Oh,
don't win
If
next
they
year.
don't win next year, they're going to get it.
If they
I mean,
don't,
they even gave the manager's award to their manager.
And you know, and
I'm like,
I'll even go as far as say this:
bullshit.
the reason I don't think the Mets are going to win is because of Buck Showalter.
well, I'm telling you, if the Mets don't win the World Series next year, they're gonna get the Dodger treatment.
Yeah.
They're because of the fact that they're spending as much money as they're spending. But this is our end of year review show, so since we're all together, we're gonna
For the first time, by the way,
for the first time
I need to buck up.
go back and
Sitting here sour.
years of abuse.
I think we've had a great second season.
I thought so
mean,
too.
No, that you. I hate when you're right.
I hate
Logic.
I hate when you're positive and right.
Logic. My brain is like, come on, it's the Dodgers. Like we were entertained throughout the entire season.
But I wasn't talking about the Dodgers. I was talking about the Bleed Lows
But the show,
podcast.
yeah.
Oh,
For the
feel
record, isn't her nickname the Princess of Positivity?
exactly. All of a sudden, she's the Princess of Darkness,
Yeah.
and I'm Captain Positivity over here.
Yeah, you
Black
sound like you had a good holiday.
Blackheart.
Hey, have a great holiday, man. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas, happy
Ho
holidays.
ho ho.
But I mean, we had 60 guests on, okay?
That's awesome.
We
we
really had 60?
Yeah, and
Wow.
we had a different a range of guests. We had players, we had former players, we had
Yeah.
broadcasters, we had comedians,
You
we
had
had
friends.
movie stars.
Yeah.
Right?
So, we're gonna do this thing where I'm gonna just give you right now my top 3 favorite episodes of this past year.
Okay.
If you guys have episodes you want to talk about, go ahead. Or if it's just moments from the show
Yeah.
that you want to share, I want to give you my top 3.
Go ahead.
But I'm going to start off with an honorable mention. Came really close to making my top 3 was our Steve Sachs episode. And it's my honorable mention because Babyface pissed off Steve Sachs. So if you guys get a chance, go back to the YouTube episode and you can watch.
Wait, you did?
Remember when Eric Karros was telling us when he threw out the first pitch with Steve Sachs,
Uh-huh.
how ripped Steve Sachs was?
Yes.
Let me tell you, Steve Sachs is ripped because you can see him on the video. His arms, dude, he's got like
He's got
cannon
some
pythons.
pythons.
He's got 24-inch pythons,
Yeah.
brother. And you could see them flex when Babyface asked him, I'm going to let Babyface say, why don't you tell them what you asked Steve Sachs?
I don't think he was pissed.
We
Yeah.
have
Put the
listeners
mic
who
closer
have
to your mouth.
commented and said they felt uncomfortable listening to that episode.
Put the mic closer to your mouth.
You know the famous story, right? Of that we've heard from like Needham Fewer and who else have we heard? We heard it's the story of Lasorda, right? When they're in the clubhouse and Lasorda's asking Guerrero like, "What are you thinking out there?" Like,
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and Guerrero's all like, "Please God, don't hit the ball to me."
Yeah, yeah.
What else are you thinking? And he'd say, "Please don't hit it to Saxy."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's been a big story, right? So we asked Steve Sachs that
By
question.
we-
No,
you
wait,
mean
not
you?
we. You. You asked.
You guys are like, whoa.
So
I-
Roger, for the record, let me preface. Roger has a knack of saying we did this or we said that. No, there is no we. It was Roger.
So I asked him, so what's give us the real story, right? Here's your chance to tell us the real story of that.
Yeah.
And so I asked him the question. He's all like, "No, I've never heard that story before." With a straight face too, like straight face, like
Straight ass face to you.
Straight-
Not
Yeah.
straight face.
Yeah.
He was pissed, dude. He was pissed. And you know he was pissed. I'm telling you, the veins were starting to pop out
Oh,
of his
wow.
24-inch pythons. And go back to YouTube, look at that, and tell me he was not pissed. If I'm wrong, if I'm reading the body language incorrectly, you guys let me know, viewers. You can find it on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can see all our episodes.
So there was no.
It was a little awkward. It was
Okay.
a little awkward. We
Okay.
transitioned out of it, but it was a little awkward.
You were able to save it.
That being said, I don't know if Steve Sachs is going to come back on the show again, but
Good job, babyface.
so that was an honorable mention. But for me, my top 3,
Yeah.
my number coming in at number 3 for me was when we had Justin and Courtney Turner on.
That's a good episode.
They were so easy to talk to.
Yes.
You know, if it was me, I never would have believed that I was talking to a Major League Baseball player. And they were promoting their Turner Trot, and they had their dogs with them, and we could talk to them. I think we were only supposed to have them on for like 15 minutes, and we
Something
went
like that.
over it.
Yeah.
You know, because they were just so easy to talk to. So I really enjoyed that episode. Coming in at number 2 was John Suhu.
Yeah.
Who I ran
was-
into today.
I was surprised at the fire
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
Suhu brought. I did not expect Suhu to come at with the high heat like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but I really enjoyed that episode. And before I go to number 1, I just want to preface, like, I enjoy all of our shows. I have a lot of fun, but these are some of the shows that stood out for me this past year. Coming in at number 1, and this may be sentimental for me, but it's the Jaime Jardín episode. Never in my life did I ever think that I was going to have an opportunity to interview a legend like that. And the fact that this was his last year, and this is and he talked to us graciously for as long as he did. That to me was the highlight of our season.
Fair. Honorable mention for me is Gabriel Iglesias, just because he's fucking funny. There's no other way to put it. Joe Beimel, number 3.
The ambassador of the Bleed Los
Yeah.
podcast.
He was great.
It's kind of weird because I'm of the logic of I'm too old for new friends, right?
Yes.
I'm only 36, but I'm too old for new friends.
You have an old soul.
Yeah, and Joe Beimel has become a friend,
Mm.
and that's kind of cool. Like, we'll message and all that stuff, and just bullshit up. We were talking about Teslas the other day, so I mean, it's so Joe Beimel was a great episode. Joe Kelly is number 2 for me because of how candid he was. You don't really see that nowadays because guys like to duck the media. I mean, I work in athletics, right?
Yes.
And guys constantly duck media where they can. And Joe Kelly was like, "Hey, I'm just here. I'm just in the immortal words of Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so they don't find me."
Yeah.
That one was cool. And then for number 1, oh man, I go back and forth between Dale Murphy because I'm biased, right? Because he's a
Yeah.
friend, or Miguel Vargas, just because Miguel Vargas was just so authentic. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But it also shows you. Again, one thing we inadvertently did is we were profiling the youngsters, and we didn't even realize it. But he was just himself. He didn't care if it was in English or Spanish, whatever. He even gave us his in and out order. So
And we know he doesn't like hot sauce.
no. But the reason I like the Dale Murphy thing too, aside from the fact that he's a friend, is Dale Murphy. Like
Yeah.
you get an unabashed kind of perspective. Granted, we're a Dodger centric podcast, but you get to see. Oh, I hated playing you guys. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
That perspective, and then we got to hear some old stories. But then the main moment, my favorite moment of this entire season, is when Tom Niedenfuhr showed up on the screen, and Juan absolutely shit his pants. Like you had no idea that was coming, and just your reaction to that. And I liked how real Tom was.
He was absolutely, he was real and he was polite.
Yes.
In the sense of saying, you're full of shit,
Yeah,
fat
yeah.
ass. You don't know anything, and you're gonna fucking but you know what? He brought up stuff that I never thought about. It. The fact that he was on fumes,
Yeah.
because he had been pitching so much. And when we had Steve Sachs on, Steve Sachs almost told us the same thing. He's like, even if we won that game, Juan, we were facing John Tudor the next day.
Yeah.
You think we're gonna beat John Tudor? And I was like, well, not with that kind of confidence.
Right.
See, but again, I mean,
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, not with that attitude.
but that's where you take. I mean, granted, I'm wired differently than you guys, right? Where I
Yeah.
can take the emotion out of it, whereas you are still reeling from 1985.
Oh yeah, let me tell you that. But that was a
That
very
was
fun
classic.
That's a
moment.
good one, yeah.
Very classic. Well, my number 1 is Fluffy because
You're biased.
it
but it's okay.
was. I am biased. He's a friend, but also he took it not just about the Dodgers and baseball, but like lifestyle, and it
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. And he was also supposed to be a 15-minute interview.
right.
And
He
what did we go,
was.
like 45?
We went like almost an hour.
Yeah,
I
we
think.
almost went an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Didn't feel like an hour because
No.
we were just having fun, and so that stands out to me. That was like my first, but I just love history, right? Like the history, because I'm such a homer for Dodger Stadium and the cathedral of baseball that it is. I meant cathedral. I said, what did I say?
Cathedral.
Cathedral. Yeah,
It's okay.
I'm
you
emotional.
you have an accent.
I
It's
know,
all right.
right?
CUTH.
Siri thinks I have an accent. I can't voice text for nothing. Racist. So Mark Langell.
That's
He-
a good one.
I've interviewed him several times, and I thought that I had heard his amazing stories. Nope. Still pulling out, rabbits from the hat, like still Vince Scully stealing his cap. Like,
Yeah.
I love that. But again, I'm a history nerd, and I got to give some love to the ladies. I loved having Nicole Singer
Yes.
because she had just got the job.
Yeah.
She didn't know what she was getting into, even though she had listened to the show. I didn't know that till she came on, and she was awesome. And now I feel like we have a friend in her, right? As much as she can. I mean, she's a company gal,
Right.
but I feel like she's a friend to us. And I just love that women are out there in positions that were normally, men have been working for many, many years. And she's a boss lady, and she
Yes.
knows, she knows baseball. She knows sports.
She does.
Oh, and shout out to La Chica Deportes, because Alonso, you spoke about betting on yourself. She
Yeah.
did. So I love her story of working, and then the players that she works with, and the need for more diversity in baseball.
Facts.
So those are probably, and I gotta say love to Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
He was I should put out there, if you're new to the Bleed Lows podcast, I joined late.
Yes.
So those are people that I actually got to interview. The other ones I just listened to.
Danny
And
Trejo
I'm
is in my
bummed that-
top 5. No disrespect to
Yeah.
him, but it's,
His enthusiasm, right?
he I hope to be as hyped as that guy is when I'm
Right?
78.
And he's also very knowledgeable about the history of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
How he didn't like the Dodgers growing up. So if you don't know why, check it out.
Yeah. Years of abuse like one.
Right.
That's right. Babyface.
I think I have like a lot of honorable mentions. Like I'm going through the list right here. I'm looking at the list. I mean, Max Muncy was great, right?
Yeah.
To start off our season 2, right? You know, he's coming back from an injury. He's sharing with us kind of where he's at, all that stuff.
During
Getting
the
to know him.
lockout.
Yeah, during the
Yeah.
lockout. Yeah. So Max Muncy right up there, and stay tuned because he might be coming back pretty soon.
Don't be cashing checks you can't keep. Though.
Miguel Vargas, like you were saying, you know, just he was solid, down to earth. You know, Diego Cartaya, same thing. Trejo, the Trejo episode. I mean, Mariachi Los Toros, they were playing for us. I mean,
They were awesome.
all those dudes. These are all in my honorable mention. Ricky Lee Moda. I mean,
That's a good one.
just to hear what she does for the at the stadium every day, what goes into that with DJ Severe. That was another great episode. The Kelly stuff.
Oh yeah, Joe Kelly. That was you.
What
took
else?
my
I'm
answer.
kind of looking just through our list here.
My bad. You're just getting piled on over here today.
What about Evan Phillips?
That was a good
Yeah,
one.
Evan
That was a
Phillips.
good one. I was surprised at how
I like how-
friendly
I
and
like-
casual and how
Yeah.
I
was
like how
candid as
he,
well.
I am an unassuming dude.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't flinch though. He never hesitated with any of
No.
his answers. And they eat tacos every week. Hello.
And also Alicia's episode. Alicia's episode was
That's a good one.
still our top episode. That was
try to
a
soften me up.
great episode. Just,
Yeah.
to bring her
It's
on.
our highest rated
It
episode
is.
was when
it was
we
a great-
interviewed Alicia and
great fun
revealed at
interview.
the end that she was joining the show.
And now she's bitter at us.
Really?
So-
No.
So now when I look at my top 3,
I blame management. Just kidding. I love you, baby.
I'm gonna go
Hostile
with
work
number
environment.
3 with Fluffy.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
just because he, like I said, he was so candid.
Yeah.
At the end of the interview, he knew that we're big wrestling fans.
Oh, that's right.
And
It was
now
the tour.
Give us
I
that
watch
tour.
wrestling. So
Yeah. He gave us that tour.
That was
I mean,
cool.
and one of the things, like we've said, he doesn't do a lot of podcasts.
No.
He doesn't do a lot of podcasts, and he was gracious enough to do our show, one that you guys got to check out.
So fun.
Check out that tour. Number 2 was the Turners, right? Just what we said about the Turners, just awesome couple, awesome people in general. Just losing them in LA is going to be a big hit, but it was so fun to get to know them and talk with them and just kind of get what they were about. And for me, the number 1 show is going to be Joe Bimo. I love that show. Just Joe Bimo was. I don't know if I wasn't really expecting what he gave us. Like, he really cracked me up. His Macho Man interview.
he was
Fucking
awesome.
funny.
He was just so down to earth.
Yeah.
I keep playing. I'll go back and I'll play that. He texted me that voiceover where he did the Macho Man, and I put it to his picture where he was dressed up. So I mean, just Joe Bimo was great. We've nicknamed him the ambassador
Yeah.
of the Bleed Lows podcast.
And he's an overall good dude.
Yeah.
So I think that's my number 1 show. But,
Authentic.
Yeah.
but I mean, every show, everybody that's come on that's been gracious
Everybody's been
to
great.
come on. Yeah, they're just.
You know who was a good low key one? Steve Mason.
Steve Mason.
Because it's one of those where, granted, I work in broadcast stuff too, right? So you think you know a guy because you listen to him on the radio every day, right? And then you hear him be himself in an environment that isn't, Mason in Ireland, and then you kind of learn that. But that was a good episode, and I just like how you randomly run into Steve Mason too. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Mason is a man of the people,
Yes,
and they gave us a shout out on 710.
that's right.
Mason,
They did.
on
They did.
his radio show. He gave us a shout out and,
Unprompted.
and said that we do a good job.
So I have a couple more honorable mentions. Obviously, the Need and Fear thing was.
I didn't realize the
hilarious.
list was going to carry on.
I love every show.
Are
I mean,
we
that's
up to 59 guests?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for 69.
Chris Estrada, right? We love that show.
He was
Chris
on
Estrada.
my list too.
Chris
I was
Estrada.
trying to hurry up.
and
That's what I
Dave
thought we were going for.
and Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts. I know
Dave
obviously
Roberts
what
is on
happened,
my
but to
list.
have Dave Roberts on our show right before the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean that was huge. And Dave was a great.
He's
talk to
he's also a good guy
Yeah.
who gets a lot of crap,
He
you
does.
know.
Well, I mean, I am the conductor of the Appreciate Dave Roberts train, and that was cool for him to be like, oh, well, we appreciate you guys doing that because I get shit on quite a bit. He obviously couldn't say that though.
Congratulations to Chris Estrada.
Yes.
This fool picked up for another season, so
Season
maybe
dos.
we'll have him back. And let's bring on
Quinones?
his cousin, yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it his nephew?
It's his
No, his
cousin.
cousin.
It's his
Yeah.
cousin.
I have been watching a lot of Cholo Fit, so that would be fair.
I love him. Frankie's cool.
Well, I want to give a shout out to some of our recurring guests that have become
The
friends
Tocayo?
of the carne asada. Yeah. I mean, Toribio is always great.
Yeah.
Toribio,
That's awesome.
Juan Toribio of MLB.com covers the Dodgers. He is as a regular on that show.
And
But
unabashedly himself.
you know who I was going to lead with is Jorge Castillo.
Also a good dude.
Castillo brings the fire.
Yes.
Like he writes great articles, great profiles. Eventually, I think what's going to happen is he's going to take over for Plashke at the LA Times.
As long as he's not on Around the Horn, that's fine.
But I could
Shout
see,
out to Bill Plaschke.
unless Castillo leaves for greener pastures
Right.
and goes somewhere, but I could see him being the lead columnist for the LA Times.
We got to say hello and shout out to Dylan Hernandez
That too.
because
The internet's contrarian.
he gets a lot of heat and
Yeah.
he faces it. He comes on here and he's
Yeah.
like, "What? Ask me anything."
But I
So,
also like how Dylan is he's to the point, but also doesn't pull punches.
No.
He's very and it's everything the fans, the three of you, don't want to hear.
whatever.
I mean, I do, again, I hope they keep Julio. I really do. I
I
just
do
don't think they're
too.
going to.
But look at who his agent is too. There's
I don't
there's no love. He
Honestly-
still doesn't have a foundation. Like who's helping him out? There?
Honestly, I don't even think it's a Boris thing. I just think at
He
this
doesn't help.
well, no, it doesn't. But I mean, at the same time, I just think at this point, if the marriage isn't working, you have to come to terms with the fact that it's not working, right? But if
why
one
not?
side is not willing to come to the table to make it work, then you have to move on, right?
But that side would be the Dodgers.
Thank you.
So then why we should be able to talk about that?
Yeah,
discuss
no,
that,
right.
Call them out for that.
And it's going to be more prevalent coming in the upcoming season because obviously, I mean, he's the de facto. I mean, it's Kershaw is going to be regarded as the ace, right? But it's really Julio Diaz. I mean, we haven't even talked about how he got more or less snubbed.
Yes, he did.
He got snubbed for the side. That was blatantly, bro. That was an open hand slap.
Well, we had Toribio on.
And Dylan Hernandez also
But
he
look,
wrote about that.
We're starting to hear that.
Yeah.
Kershaw has come out and said Julio is underappreciated.
Oh.
Chris Taylor has come out
Yes.
and said he's
Chris
underappreciated.
Taylor doesn't say shit.
And yeah, exactly. So when we had Andre Jackson
just told us.
Andre Jackson just told us too that Julio, people don't appreciate what this guy does. So, I mean, look, this is the kind of stuff you're going to hear if you listen to our show. If you watch our show on YouTube, if you subscribe to our audio podcast. I want to give a quick shout out to some other recurring guests that we have. El Padrino. We got a lot of comments when Ned Coletti recently came on.
Love Ned.
And we got comments from listeners that were just so happy to hear him because he was a soothing voice, right?
To hear him.
Yeah, because the thing
His
is he's
voice.
not on Spectrum anymore.
Oh,
For
that's right.
so
I forget
long,
that.
we were so used to getting Ned's, and he
Insight.
doesn't even do Dodger Talk anymore,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when Ned came on our show just recently for the Turners, we got a bunch of fans coming out there going, "Thanks for bringing Ned on. It's so good." It was like
Like a
everything's
grandpa?
gonna be
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was like everything's gonna be okay. Like so many people have told me they love hearing Ned talk about baseball, and I Babyface asked him like the last time the Dodgers did a youth movement was when Ned was there.
Yeah.
When you had Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier, all these guys together. So I just feel, the Padrino's good to us. I don't feel he's gotten enough credit for really, especially the hell he had to go through working under the McCourt ownership.
He's also a cat guy. I didn't know that about him. That one actually took me by surprise.
What's wrong with cats?
Nothing, but I mean, but he's a what's the word I'm looking for? He's basically a mobster, right? I wouldn't expect a mobster to be a cat guy.
Well, they say that you have to have a certain level of intelligence to appreciate cats.
It's true. I don't have that level of intelligence.
Well, I'm dumb and I'm allergic to them, so that makes a lot of sense.
Allergic is one thing,
Well,
but
another
cats are special. They're not dogs.
another guest that I want to give a shout out who's been recurring. I know you guys love the ambassador Joe Bible, but our favorite immigrant Eric Gagne
I was about to say.
Oh,
has
that-
been
yeah.
good to us.
I
how
like
could
how
on
I
the
forget
show.
Kanye?
I like how he'll randomly email too. Like he sent this picture of him wearing our shirt, and I was like, "Oh, it's Eric Gagne."
That's dope.
But I like. But the
Our
thing
favorite immigrant.
I love the,
It's our favorite immigrant,
The
our
thing I
favorite
like-
Canadian immigrant.
he has
love him.
every reason to just not talk about the Dodgers.
Yeah,
Has every reason, and he's. I like how candid he's always been as a whole, but I also like his perspective on it all because he also says, "Hey, I mean, this is what it is."
hey, whenever I watch old WWF, and yeah, I said WWF
Wow.
on the Peacock, and I
Vince
see the
McMahon.
Rougeau brothers, I can't help but think of Eric Gagne because we have a Rougeau brother
On the show.
connection there.
And kudos to Eric for being so gracious with his time to us too, because we'll randomly email him, "Hey, could you
Yeah.
join or whatever?" And yeah, just text me. I
Are,
can't.
are there any other things you want to bring up? Any ideas you guys want to share before we start wrapping things up?
James Outman.
Carol's too. Carol's he's come back. a couple
Oh
times.
yes, that's right. Even though Eric has a beef with Alicia now,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
every time he comes on the show,
You're
you're not
not
on the show.
Yeah.
he
he
told
thinks you're
us
dodging him.
he
Yeah.
wants you to be.
Okay.
He wants you to be on the
Especially
show.
because I approached and was like, "Hey, you're coming on the show." Like
He's starting to think it's personal, Alicia.
Yes.
He was just like, "Why is it every time I come
the
on the show,
second
she's not
time
here?"
I wasn't in town. The first time was just it sucked.
Karros has been good. James Outman was good. I like James Outman's candor. One of my honorable mentions is I can't remember his handle on Instagram because it's an elite one. But Dontre Willis,
Oh, D Train.
D Train,
Isn't
He was
Grizzly
great.
or
Young
something?
young Grizz.
Young Grizzle. That's what
Young
it is. Young
Grizzle.
Grizzle. That's elite.
I would put him up on my top 5. Yeah, top 10.
What I liked about Dontrell is just how candid he was. Because he like you literally would never know that he worked for the Dodgers and his criticisms.
No.
So that one was a cool one.
Jessica
Joe Davis.
Mendoza. Joe Davis. Jessica
Joe
Yeah,
Davis was a cool one.
Jessica Mendoza was good.
Jessica Mendoza was good. I feel like she gets shit on so much for no good reason.
Yes.
And it was good to hear, like for our listeners to hear why she's good at her job. That was a good one. And I like that she suggested we get Chambi on.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got goals. We got a third season coming up pretty soon. So
Yeah.
if you guys have ideas of people you would like to see on the show, I mean, let us know.
And,
I
and
mean,
point,
Babyface will stalk them, and we'll find a way to get them on the show.
point is, all the shows have been good. So if you've missed whatever, just go back and listen to them. They're all on YouTube. They're all on wherever you get your podcasts.
And I
Apple, Spotify.
promise I'm not this dark. I'm just working
just
through
around
some
the-
stuff.
It's just around the holidays.
The holidays can be
Dude,
tough.
it's a
And
tough
when the
se-
Dodgers, break your heart like that, like it takes a little bit.
It's a
I
tough
can't wait
scene.
till the comments start coming in. What happened with Bizarro Alicia? When did you guys get Bizarro Alicia on
Was
the
she
show?
drunk? Like just
Wow.
all in.
Why do I gotta be drunk?
Because you're not yourself.
It's just water.
Sniff it.
I would like to think that if I was a drunk, I'm a happy drunk. Let's just put it like
Well, I mean,
that.
I'm concerned now because I feel like if you were to be overcome by emotion with booze right now, it'd be negative.
I know. I would probably
This
go more
lamp-
chente than freestyle.
This lamp is ugly.
There you go.
So, congratulations, fellas, on your because again, I joined late, and I wanted to
You know
thank
you're
you
a part
for,
of this, right?
I don't think she does.
No, I'm saying I was trying to say that I'm happy that you guys have accepted me and allowed me in your space. But congratulations, you've been doing this. I came late, still feel like a rookie. So
If it makes you feel better, we have no idea what we're doing.
hopefully we can have a couple of more in-person podcasts. That was fun.
What?
Shout out to the listeners and viewers that came out. To
Oh,
our-
like I was gonna say that was it was cool to meet some of our dude. Philip does not like you. He does not like you.
Right now, he's so excited that you gave him a shout out, right?
But it was cool to to meet Simeon, to meet Philip. There was somebody else, and I'm so bad with names, so I apologize. There was somebody else that's a frequent
Dodger
listener.
Chicks. They came
The
and gave
Dodger
us
Chicks,
gear.
Ink Junkies, all those guys that came out. It
Mhm.
was cool. But yeah, Philip doesn't like you.
Philip doesn't know any better. He's a Raiders fan.
I mean, but aren't you?
Talk about breaking
Yeah,
hearts.
yeah. But
The math
and
doesn't
you
add
know
up.
what? Doing the lives were fun.
They were.
My boy Sports Empire, I miss you. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Come back.
Sports Empire was a great supporter of us. I did like doing the lives and engaging with
That
our
was
listeners.
fun.
I
We
liked
should do
I
that
liked
more.
I liked when her sisters would come on. And,
Oh.
and they would just, la porra.
That's right.
They would also tell me like, "Smile. Why are you mad?" I'm like,
We're saying
Do
the
I
same
look
thing
mad?
right now. Are you mad?
Hey, why are you mad, Alicia?
I also liked. I did like the engagement, but I don't know if it's because I'm a sadist or something, but I think it's funny when the Dodgers lose and then you get all the people that come out of the woodwork. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
You included.
Oh yeah, of course.
But
Well, our second highest rated show now is the game that we went and we spoke on the defeat.
oh yeah.
the big
After the
disappointment.
Dodgers
yeah.
got eliminated,
Yeah.
The big
that is our
disappointment
second
that-
highest
yeah.
rated show
really?
of all time.
Yeah. It's
Oh.
like maybe 10 downloads like behind Alicia. So
No
they're coming
shit.
for you, Alicia.
I should have done it. Maybe I wouldn't be where I am right now. I'd be a lot further along.
So I think what we should call the episodes when they lose, we should just call them "Welcome to El Palenque."
Oh, yeah, El Padrino del Palenque.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Julian Torres.
Julian Torres,
yeah.
who got a lot of love on this show every time we talk to players. You know,
Yeah, oh,
they
yeah.
they'd always like, yeah, we like that guy.
Not Walker Bueller, right?
Ooh. Damn, she chose.
Well, we're not
Wallace
going
there.
to
No,
we're
Walker
not
hasn't
going to
been
have
on the
Walker
show.
Bueller on the show anymore.
He hasn't
so.
been on.
No, wait, am I wrong? He's
You know-
the one that was like, I don't get mariachis. Or no.
Yes, when
Yes, it
we
was
were
him.
at the Kershaw's Challenge
It's okay.
on the blue
That's right.
carpet.
You guys got to go to the Kershaw's channel.
Yeah, we got Babyface and I were on the and that was when Guillermo. That's a great moment too when Guillermo totally
He's still coming back. He's around somewhere. He said he'd be back. So
yeah
we're waiting.
Guillermo totally just abandoned us on the blue carpet.
Well, you know the problem was he was a little drunk.
Well, that and I think he was surprised that someone was speaking to him in Spanish.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I think that threw him off. But to wrap things up, guys, going into the third season,
Uh-huh.
upcoming, do you guys have any goals, any things you guys want to accomplish for the next season, anything you guys are looking forward to?
I'd like Alicia to be a little more positive for starters, because shit. I think so. Remember when we talked to Stan Kasten highlight as well?
Oh, he was great.
When I told him that he was like on this list, this fake list that we had of guys that we wanted on.
Yeah.
I would like to add Andrew Friedman to that list.
All right, that's a good. Okay. Dream. So a dream guess for you would be Andrew Friedman.
It would, just because I want to pick his brain a little bit with logic. I don't know how much he would tell us, if I'm being completely honest, but I kind of want to pick his brain a little bit. And then another guy, I would like to have Mookie on.
Yes.
And Julio
I
Diaz.
probably ruined both of those with this episode. You picked the two guys that, and I never said Friedman's name. I said management, but I
You-
think I just got mumbled. The best way to put it is the culture needs to change.
Yeah.
Which starts at the top. So that was my management is my way of saying that.
You know what that's called,
Thank
Juanito?
you.
That's called saving face.
Yeah. Well played.
Back
well
to you in the
played.
studio. Alicia.
Yes. Well played.
How about that squirrel? I would like Urias because I know he's a friend of the carne asada. He just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
So please come on our show.
Also,
I'm not sure if we
honorable
even.
mention to Rafael Arroyo.
Oh, Rox, he was great.
He's second time.
Yeah, he was on our first season. He was
That's
our
right.
first
First
guest
episode.
ever on
Yeah.
the podcast. So we probably owe him a lot of gratitude because he
Yeah.
went out farthest on the limb, being the first one to come on the
Yeah,
show
yeah.
with these guys.
And now he's become a friend.
Yeah.
Another person we forgot is Polo.
oh yeah,
Well,
Paul.
but hear me out. Hear me out.
Uh oh.
I'm kidding, Polo. I'm kidding.
He's fun.
He is.
It's just a lot of energy. I feel like people get comfortable here.
Yeah.
And so, a guests get to say what they want. We are not going to. You're free to come on here. You
Well-
can say whatever. You want. Obviously, listen to this show.
Well, when you come
Like-
when you come to a place where there's Raider fans, where there's Laker fans, where there's Dodger, there's lots of abuse. So we all just have to talk to each other.
Well,
to
the
work through
Rams
it.
add them to the
Which is
list
fine.
this year. I mean,
I'm a Packer fan, so whatever.
ooh.
is that it? Is that all you have on your wish list? Is Urias?
No, let me see.
I ruined Mookie.
I know. I actually would like to have Mookie on.
Yeah.
Mookie, come on our show. We can talk bowling because I feel like that's his number one sport.
And he's so good at it.
Yes, we know this.
Yeah.
Wow.
We
I'm
know.
really loving this version of Alicia.
We know
we
this.
need to keep this
I was,
version
I
of
was
Alicia.
propping you up for what's called a softball, and you just
Hey,
completely.
babyface, bottle up whatever
please,
she's got and
please.
make sure we give it to her for the next
I mean,
episode.
it's hard not to like Mookie. Mookie's just a lovable dude, right? Like I
Yeah.
get it, the super, but I'm just like, what have you done for us lately? Like he's Mookie
She's bitter.
friggin' bad.
Bitter.
Do you remember that
He's
catch that he
wicked
made in
good.
in the
World
Wicked
Series?
good.
that catch that he
Yeah,
made
that was-
against the Braves?
Yeah. Hey, Roger, will you do me a favor? Will you check that
This is
water bottle?
technically a better team.
Wow, we really
Wow.
did pull like a vice versa.
I'm
didn't
telling
we?
you, bro. I'm telling you. That,
You know, I'm just using this as therapy. It's gonna be fine.
well, I guess in her
I
defense,
still have my Mookie Betts jersey.
in her defense, she was in sabbatical.
I was on sabbatical. I did not get to work through it. So sorry to bring my
So Alicia came back as Black
darkness.
Swan.
I'm the
So
Hello,
that's
darkness.
literally-
This well lit hotel room is very dark. Very dark.
Babyface, who are your dream guests for next season?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give it away, like
Of
who our
not.
guests
course,
are, but
of course.
I mean, there's,
I believe because you might end up on a registry too.
there's Dodger players. Obviously, Julio's at the top of that list.
Yeah.
I want to get Kershaw on this show.
That'd be a
I
good
think
one.
Kershaw would
That's
be,
like a dream.
know,
dream.
he'd be a great guest. Obviously, we like having actors that are comedians that are connected to LA. So there's a lot of people on that list that
Yeah.
hopefully we can make happen next year.
G-Lo,
Gilo.
I'm looking at you
Gilo. We should have
'Cause that one-
George
'cause that
and
one-
his daughter on.
because that one you can't fuck up.
What?
Can I say about Kershaw? I would like to play ping pong with Clayton Kershaw, ping pong for a purpose, and then we could
Mm.
interview him at the same time.
Yeah, maybe we can get invited to actually go inside.
Oh, that's right. They didn't let
We,
you
we
in.
were only allowed to do the blue carpet.
I
So
forgot about that.
we were only allowed
He's a
to.
son of a.
Yeah, we were allowed on the outside, and then we could just help clean up
Are
afterwards.
you still on the security list for the press box?
Probably.
Sick.
Probably.
Good for
We'll
you.
find out. We'll find out this year.
Good for you.
I mean,
One thing I did notice when we went to the Believe party, went to the our network's they had a
Our holiday party?
Yeah,
That I did not go to.
I did notice that Juan kind of stayed away from the food. He didn't want to go and grab
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
food there.
So we.
you know why I stayed away from it? Because it wasn't good.
Oh
That's
no!
If there were
Oh.
tacos there,
Oh boy.
trust
I
me,
mean-
bro, I would have gotten
Okay.
kicked out of the Believe holiday
Okay.
party.
I mean, I think it's the same as the press box food, right?
No, the press box food is good.
Well,
It's
the dinner, but I mean, for the hot dogs, the Dodger dogs and the soda and the chips.
So it's fair to say we're never going to go back to the network.
No, we are. Look, and maybe next time you're in LA because you're based out of Utah, but our host network, Believe, they have great studios
And
now
apparently
that
not
they
good
just
food.
open.
Not good.
They have
food.
great
And-
studio.
And so we hope to be recording there with all of us together in the
Yeah.
future. I think that's something to look forward to.
I would like to come do
in
like
season
3 shows since it's season 3 shows here.
That'd be great. Look, guys, I think we buried the lead. I know Alicia agrees with me, but this whole show has become a mission to get Valenzuela's jersey retired.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think Valenzuela would probably be a dream guest to have on this show.
That is correct.
Okay, so I think that's our dream list. I think that our first answers were like, we could probably do that. Fernando and Kershaw, I would just, oh my God, I would take another sabbatical. But out of positivity, not darkness.
I'm so glad I
Because-
wasn't.
You do know now when people don't hear you on the show, they're going to be concerned
Oh
about
Yeah,
my
it.
that's
God,
true.
Did anybody
Fernando's
check
my
on Alicia?
favorite Dodger all time, and who's that?
That means that Alicia's on sabbatical again, guys.
And then Kershaw's just Kershaw. Like that's just, I mean,
Especially since we don't know how much longer we're going to have Kershaw.
Hot
Well,
take.
technically,
I
we
think
don't
this is his
know.
last year.
yeah,
You think
it's
so?
1
I think so.
year.
But
Yeah.
you also thought
But
last year was.
I
his
want
last.
to retire. He better retire at Dodger.
So
There's
I
a
mean,
difference between being here and not playing baseball anymore. What
So-
do you think?
I think he's going to retire.
Okay.
But I think it's only because A, Father Time's undefeated,
Yeah.
and B, he knows the writings on the wall. He's no fool. Like once you start thinking about it, I'm of the party that I think you should retire
Yeah.
because then it messes with you.
So not like Tom Brady.
Tom Brady should have retired. Like I will go on record like, bro, you fucked up. Like he should have retired.
But Kershaw's still delivering. He's
No,
still
no,
solid.
He's pitching at an elite level, but the
Yes.
thing is Father Time's undefeated, right? There's
Yeah,
only
yes.
so many LeBrons that we're
I
gonna
know,
see,
dude,
right?
LeBron.
Sadly,
38?
sadly, I think he's gonna do one year in Texas.
No.
I don't think he's. I think
How-
he's.
I think he wants to
No.
play for his team.
Remember how a
He
minute
wants to
ago?
play for his team.
Remember how a minute ago you were saying that this is a hostile work environment?
I'm sorry.
Just throw a projectile.
I'm
That could have got
sorry.
stuck in my
back.
eye.
I thought I
She's
was ready
carrying
to
an
come
Uzi.
back.
I'm so happy we don't have an HR department.
That's true.
No, but I honestly think this is kind of the unspoken, because he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that also wants the swan song retirement. Like he just wants
He
to
doesn't
go
want
out.
the farewell tour.
No, he wants to go out on his terms. And you know what? If going out on his terms is, hey, I gave it one more shot, that's what she wrote. Then, hey,
On the
for him.
bright side, though, the Ranger rotation looks like it's getting pretty much set, so maybe there won't be a spot for him there. So
You are the worst.
I feel like we should have Thor on.
Thor would be. I think
That'd
he'd be
be
a good
fun,
interview. Yeah.
right?
Thor, I actually.
My daughter has a crush on him. so
Okay, there's an
immediately.
ulterior motive. Okay. I wouldn't
It's
be
the
opposed
hair.
to having Thor on, only because I liked how straight up he was about why he signed.
I do too. Absolutely.
Like you don't really see that.
No, he was flat out. I
Yeah.
mean, he said out loud what I think many of the people that signed with the Dodgers, like Hayward. I'm
Yeah.
sure Hayward is thinking the same thing, but yeah, his deal is a little different.
Yeah.
He's on a minor league deal, but look, it's been really great to have my co-host back on the show.
Yeah.
And get to do it in person, and it just gets me excited
At the
because
Rose Bowl.
we get a lot. I mean, the third season's coming up. Baseball's around the corner.
Yeah.
But we got WBC coming up.
That's very
we're
true.
We're gonna cover that, right? We're going to Arizona.
I would like to go to a Mexico game.
All right.
I
We're
love
gonna
that
go to
Kershaw
Arizona.
committed.
Yeah, the
Oh,
American
yeah, that's
team is
right.
looking stacked,
They are.
and so we have a lot of things that I think on our third season.
Can Tatis play in the WBC?
That's a good question.
I was actually thinking about that the other day, and I didn't look into it.
Babyface, get
Do
on
you
it.
know if
Hit your
that's-
sources.
Do you know if he can play in the WBC?
get that question answered for us.
I'm not sure. He's suspended, right, for like 30
I think
games
30
or something
games.
like that.
Yeah, but does that carry over to the WBC?
It's an MLB event, so I want to say it is.
Wow, we're gonna end the show on that cliffhanger.
That's right.
Good job.
Yeah. The only reason I was thinking about it though is because that Puerto Rican team's pretty good.
Hey, man, I'm really excited. So we're looking forward to a lot of things for our season 3 coming up.
I also want to do more giveaways. I like giving stuff away.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You want free stuff? You hit up Alicia Del Valle
And
for
she'll
free
get it
stuff.
for you.
I do. I think
I have the answer. Do you want to just
Yes.
hold it? Well, this quick search says he is now ineligible for the WBC.
Okay.
Wah,
Well, then there you go.
wah.
So
No, I mean the only reason I was thinking about it, I was like, wait a minute, this is separate from Major League Baseball service time and all that stuff. And I was like, shit, what if you can play there? By the way, there is turmoil in San Diego. Take that, Nick Kreider. Merry Christmas.
so now we're gonna end on that duck fart.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Don't fart.
again, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, make sure you do. We're available wherever you find your podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see and we have special YouTube content now, and we're going to be doing from now on little YouTube shorts that you will only be able to find on YouTube. So for this episode of the Bleed Lost Podcast, yo he sido su servidor, Juan Ramírez, con mis colegas, Alonso, Alicia y Babyface. Nos vemos para la próxima. This episode of the Bleed Lost Podcast has been brought to you by Bet Online, where the game starts.
Can we go eat?